All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to your sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right, and it's a beautiful day to serve the Lord, which every day is a beautiful day to serve the Lord, right? Because we're one step closer to the kingdom. All right, every day is a step, and like the scriptures say, order my steps. All right, but I just wanted to bring out a couple of scriptures because we need immortality. The scriptures is not just a bunch of motivational quotes, which is nothing wrong with motivational quotes, but these are all these are all precepts that line up with us receiving immortality. That's what our ultimate hope is for. To get out of this wicked flesh, which will die, right? Which the ways of death are in the flesh, sin and all these things. For all of the prophets, they had to deal with the flesh, the evil. Okay, they had to deal with the mental battle. The heart is deceitful above all things. The heart is deceptively wicked. Who could know it? All right, but in that perfect celestial body, that immortal body, everything's going to come into fruition that we're looking for. Rulership, okay, connection with the Heavenly Father. All right, being able to actually get and accomplish things, because a lot of times you're born into a situation that you have no control over, and some brothers have better fortune than others. But it's all, at the end of the day, the scriptures say that riches and poverty are all in the hands of the Lord. So whatever situation you're placed in is because the Lord wanted you to be in that situation, and that's part of your challenge, your hurdles. All right, and that's what's coming to the elect, man. We got to remember that. This is just for a brief moment. Scripture say this is all going to seem like a bad dream. Okay, we're gonna look at Esau. We're gonna be in our full form. We're gonna say, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? All this shit is small, but it's magnified by the flesh, by whatever spirit hops on you, has you to do something that off the wall that you normally wouldn't do. Now, let's get to the scriptures. This is 1 Peter 1:24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. And that's like us. No matter how strong you are, how tall you are, how fast you are, eventually the flesh will wither away. You're going to get old. And the old heads, they tell you that when you're young, and you don't know what they're talking about. You don't know what they mean. You think that you're going to be young and strong, and, you're going to, you're going to be able to deal with women all night and work all day and sleep for 4 hours or whatever. Nah, such is not the case. The flesh withereth away. All right, but the word of the Lord endureth forever. All right, how many men have mastered forever, being able to live forever? Even Esau, with all his technology and cryogenics and artificial limbs and all of this stuff, they can't live forever. Right? The word of the Lord endureth forever, and this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you. And the same word that we're pushing is the word has been pushed since the beginning. And that's why we chose to give our lives to this, understanding the reward that's laying out, understanding that the times that we're in, and that we're here for a reason. We're being called here for a reason. A lot of times, little drama happens or a situation happens, and brothers, divert from that or whatever happens. At the end of the day, man, we're here to serve the Lord. We're here to try to obtain that cloak of immortality. Right, to put off this mortal cloak. And that's the be all end all. And that's what you're even dealing with, daily issues, trouble in the flesh, even dealing with brothers, man. That's something you have to understand. All right, whatever issue you might have with a brother or whatever, especially if it's not, going off, it's not sin, it's just more of a preference thing. If this man is of the elect and you're of the elect, then guess what? You guys are going to rule forever. Right? He might be in charge over 10 cities, you overcharge over 10 cities or however many. And then all these small things are going to seem that much smaller. And that's why it's important, man, to keep charity, give according to thy ability. All right, brother who might be in a more difficult, situation. And keep your sincerity. All right, remain sincere and pure in your intents and when you do things. All right, because you don't want to be knocked out of the race for being of the elect. They have the ultimate prize. And that's the ultimate seat. And that's going to be the ultimate seat forever. However long forever is. All right, Psalms 39:5. Behold, thou hast made my days as a handbreadth, and mine age is as nothing before thee. Verily, every man at his best state is altogether vanity. Selah. No matter, like I said, how smart you think you are, how fast, how high you can jump. Every man at his best state is vanity. It doesn't mean nothing. Which, that's not saying, completely disregard your health and your wellness, but no matter how good you think you are, in the grand scheme of things, it's very small. All right, Hebrews 9:27, because a lot of, especially older people, they like to argue, these days, were better, and these days were greater, and when you look back at it, though, they had wickedness going on, too. Maybe it was a different level, but shit, wickedness was on the earth, evils were waxing great, especially during the time where Esau was in power. Shit, evils were multiplied. Death. Right, Hebrews 9:27, is it appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. And everybody gets one shot. You might get one shot and be like the blind man at Howard Shai, he healed. Because people said, what? Did his mother and father sin? Did he sin? Talking about, did he sin in another life or something? Because he was born blind. It mentions that fact. Right? You might be, like I said, you might be in a completely fucked up ass situation which had nothing to do with you. Oh shit, by the same token, you might be in a completely fucked up ass situation which is completely your fault. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get out of that situation. All right, that's why we need the kingdom. This is Psalm 73. And all of us have sinned, all of us committed iniquity. All right, it says, Psalm 73:3. It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And that's the thing about them. The wicked, talking about Esau, Edom, hell, even the 2/3. A lot of them have been put in high positions. And it's like, dang, Lord, these people have been put up, set up high, they're good. Some of them, they never have to work the whole days, their life. Hands soft as hell. Feet soft. They eat the best foods, manicures, pedicures. All the clothing they wear is 100%. They got these damn, even the lower level, elites, like here in Chicago, they got these damn $2,000 lofts and shit. I was watching on TikTok, and this girl was going through her budget. Yeah, I might pay my rent, which is about $2,000. And so she just said it so casually, like that was just, something light. All right, trust fund babies. Edomites, once again, they've never been in trouble their whole life. Shit, they might have never even been fucking pulled over. All right, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. And that's how they are. All right, we mentioned slavery. They tired of that. They're like, look, shit, we did what we did. Shit, that's how they feel. Shit, we got away with it. Now we're rich. We're going to remain rich. We're going to set up a system that's going to keep you poor and keep funneling money, into us while we manipulate, and backdoor and cheat, which is the ways of capitalism as it's been from the beginning, even though we made sure we kept you down from the beginning so that you could never be in the same position as us. All right, that's them, man. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. Look, you need to pull up yourself by your bootstraps. Even though when we did it completely illegally and fraudulently and cheated at every turn. Shit, everybody got to pay taxes. All of a sudden, when these super rich people have to pay, guess what? They could pay less than you. You make $30,000, $40,000. They probably pay less than you. Right? Or they can do, even if they do get into a situation and things don't go well, they can do, Chapter 11 bankruptcy or whatever, and then now they back on track. All of my debts are eliminated, and a lot of them they didn't file that multiple times. Meanwhile, Jake, they filed for bankruptcy. Their credit is completely fucked for 10 whatever it was, 10 years, 15 years. You might get a couch or some baseball ticket, whatever the fuck. You can't play in the same game as them. Right? They set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. Yeah. These people are eating and drinking well. The best wine from the best valleys of France and the Alps of water from the Alps of whatever the fuck the Alps is at. Switzerland or whatever. And they say, how doth the Most High know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Yeah. We're just genetically better. The God, no, that's, we're just more advanced than you. We're more advanced than the civilization. That's why we have everything. There really is no God. Now, why hasn't he helped you yet? All right? These are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. All right? And that's the thing, man. You're only here for a short time. You got to deal with all that shit. You got to deal with your enemy, she that is my enemy, okay, raising you up. Whether it be the Latino woman, whether it be, if it's the black woman, you really got a hurdle coming up. Right, if it's the fucking black woman, because you got to deal with all of that shit. And you got to get all of her ways up off you. Especially, being born again, coming to the truth, that's part of being a new man. You got to forget all of that stuff that it took you all that time to figure out. Some brothers might have figured some things out faster. And guess what? You might have figured out some shit that was complete bullshit that now you have to forget and then learn all over again. All right, some brothers, they come into the truth when they get a little older. So now you got to become as a child again and learn and grow all over again. You know what I'm saying? By the time, you look up, 50 years old, 60 years old, you don't have a lot of strength and a lot of time left. So it's like, with that being said, and don't make a mistake. Don't fuck up and have to serve some time or go into poverty or whatever situation and have to get yourself or child support or something, which is complete. That's a part of oppression too, man. The nigga woman will oppress the shit out of you, then go to the court and then ask for more. I was talking to an old head on the job about that. He's in his 60s. He been there for 20-something years. He said, I just got off of child support, man. I feel like I just got my life back, and I'm old and ready to leave. That's fucked up. Man don't get to live his life until he's 60. He old, can't really even, enjoy things in the spring of his youth. All right, now Psalms 90 and 10. The days of our years are 60 and 10, which is 70. And if by reason of strength they be 80 yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. So you get the strongest, and then people who, live, they usually get to about 80. And I have to look up, the exact data on age and all of this stuff. And a lot of those records are false, because a lot of them people are actually gone, but it was never reported. Esau do that too. And they use their name on voting ballots and taxes and all kind of, it's a dirty game with Esau, Edom. All right, but it is soon cut off and we fly away. You really don't get to do a lot. A generation is about 20 years, and that's what they tell you. Fashion recycles every 20 years. Certain things come back every 20 years. Okay, a lot of them, even now with the worldly shit, which I'm not into music that much, because the shit that they're talking about is completely profane and wicked now. It's not even, it's hard to even filter it. The Daughters of Music are brought low, but basically the sounds and the samples and stuff, that they're using now is, the stuff from the early 2000s. It all cycles back. Right, this stuff is not original. So it ain't, you had the 90s and the 2000s and stuff where they sample the other stuff, and then now this all is a sample of a sample, and it might be a sample of a sample of a sample. All right, it's watered down. Who knoweth the power of thine anger, even according to thy fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. So for the days and the time that you are here, apply your mind to wisdom. Okay? You might as well, you're going to suffer, you're going to go through these things, you might as well suffer for the Lord and patiently wait for the kingdom of heaven. Return, O Lord, how long? And let it repent thee concerning thy servants. Right? O satisfy us early with thy mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Yeah, please, Lord, return. And that's what brothers say, man. May the Lord return soon. All right, make us glad according to the days wherein thou hast afflicted us, and the years wherein we have seen evil. All right, some of my teachers, my apostles and elders, they've been quickened for 25, 30 years, 35 years. They've had to read through the scriptures and pray and seek the Lord. All right, this is Sirach 19. And I just had a few more. I'm going to make it short. But it's like you sit here, you try to ponder, what's next, what's ahead. You talk to the old school cats, but even the ones who don't know the scriptures, knowing the scriptures puts you on a level of understanding above them. Now, they might know certain things. They might understand certain things better because they've had, certain experience. There's a certain honor, but the scriptures talk about that. A hoary head is an honorable thing if it be found through righteousness. You have a lot of men who have lived for a long time, but they've never necessarily known the way of righteousness. They don't have understanding. They're 60, 70, still trying to get with somebody's wife. They're still eating pork and catfish. Still shaving. Clean face. 60, 70 years old. All right, so you have to be able to filter certain things through the scriptures. Where's the one I wanted? Oh, here's what I wanted. It's Sirach 18. And And 9, the number of a man's days at the most are 100 years, as a drop of water unto the sea, and a gravel stone in comparison of the sand, so are 1,000 years to the day of eternity. All right, and from the beginning, we were supposed to have our day. We were supposed to live, to 1,000 years. Then that was cut short. Then eventually, the Lord cut that. Genesis 6:3 cut that to 120 years. Now this is saying in Sirach, which we read Psalms 90 and 10 that talked about that 80 years through strength. That was, let me go back. That was Moses. I just want to make sure. Yeah, prayer of Moses. So this was the time of Moses. He said 80. And then Sirach says, the number of a man's days at the most are 100 years. And there are exceptions. You might have some, very few, who go past those days, but usually that's it. And we don't even make it through that. And if you notice, especially now where we're weaker, and the food is more rotten, and the air and the water quality and all of that, if we were gonna be here, for the net, which Lord willing we ain't, I don't see it. If we were gonna be here for the next 40 years, 50 years, because I'm 30 myself, we probably wouldn't make it until, like these the old heads now. They grew up, during the 60s and the, let's see, 60, yeah, about 60. The ones who are leaving this place, they grew up around the 50s. Okay, I think my grandmother, she grew up around, she is in the spirit realm, but I think she grew up around the 50s, something like that. She was 70 something, the 50s and 60s. Okay, but the 50s, the 60s, all right, well, they actually had, everything was natural. It was still, they had some pesticides and stuff, but it wasn't on the level that we have now. The point is, like the scriptures say, there'll be no flesh to be saved. All right, you got young people getting off. Young people dying, man. Even the youths will faint. It's another reason we got to get out of this, man. It's changing everything. All right, you got your woman against you, completely against you. She don't want to have a family. She don't want to be a part of a family unit. She want to be, she want to be the man, and she want you to be the woman. All right, you looked at weird, for wanting to be a man and wanting to show strength. Except when she gets in front of Esau, then she becomes a woman. All right, this shit is completely backwards. You got your own people that look at you, that want to kill you. These are all situations that the prophets had to deal with as well. All right, you have the wicked in rulership. They getting old. They're making sure they don't leave this place without fucking you over and trying to destroy you and continuing to use, their subtlety, to the maximum with no mercy for young or old. All right, they don't care. They don't care about all these Negroes who they've been on a job for 30 years, 40 years. They don't care. And I was talking to them about that. They talking about retirement and shit. Some of them retiring with they were telling me $1,300 a month. That ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? What can you do with that in the city? If your house ain't paid for, if your car, everything ain't paid for, you got to find another job. And you 60-something years old. Right? Madness. And that's why we need immortality, brothers. That's why we need salvation. Wisdom of Solomon 8. I just got a little more. Stay with me. In 13, it says, moreover, by means of her wisdom, I shall obtain immortality and leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me. Because the elect, they're going to be the heads. Those 144,000 men are going to be the heads of all of Israel forever. Your name is going to be known forever. You're going to have that glow forever. I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me. You're going to rule over these people forever. Rule righteously forever. Right? No more of this shit where you don't, you know what I'm saying? Even in this world, I believe it's Apostle Ricard who quoted that you really don't get your bearings until you about 24, 25. That's what Esau say. Your brain don't fully develop until you're 24, 25, around that time. That's when you kind of get your bearings. You know, in the scriptures, you become a man at 12, but you don't become a, you know, then, you know, you can go to war at, was it 18? 19? No, it's 20. From 20, no, that's numbers. From 20 years and upward. I think it's numbers 9 to 3 or something like that. But from 20 years upward. So then you could go to war. And then you have, even with that, you have experts of war. You have men who've been to war, you know. So then you fall into the ranks of that. Right? The point is, you know, it takes time to master things. It takes, you know what I'm saying, we're here for the long run, but we're hoping for it to be a short time. Right? It says, after I am come into mine house, or Salakia, verse 15, was the swallow 8 and 15, horrible tyrants should be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war. After I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her, for her conversation have no bitterness, and to live with her have no sorrow, but mirth and joy. Now, when I consider these things in myself and ponder them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality. And that's what's going to happen in the end with the elect. We're going to be paired with wisdom forever. Wisdom maketh all things new. And it's going to bring us immortality as well. All right, 2 Ezra 7 and 42. This is my last couple. He answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. That's the answer. This is not the end. All right, Christians think this is the end. This is it. After this, you judge, you go to heaven forever, or you go to hell where you burn forever. But to get there, you have to go through this white man and go through his church and receive his doctrine, even though he brought your people over here for slavery, you know, for all these years. You still got to do all of that, you know, to be a good Christian. You know, even though he's still, to this day, he's still your enemy, and he's still showing himself to be your enemy. All right, and they still use Christianity as a leeway point to get into these other nations, and that's, you know, we know according to the scriptures, that's part of that wine. Okay, first they send the priests and those really they send the women first too. That's how they get you. They send those, it's like it. I had to wipe something up real quick. If they send those women preachers, and you know, they read to the kids and show them pictures of Jesus and hug on them and all that. Then they send in the men, you know, and then they start to send in the soldiers, you know, because we done broke their mind down. So bow before us in the white image of Jesus. And all that's going to be overturned. All right, this is not the end. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for it to come, wherein corruption is past. Intemperance is at an end. Infidelity is cut off. Unfaithfulness is going to be cut off. Okay, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. And that's the age we're in, where the truth is coming out. And infidelity is going to be cut off, and righteousness is going to be completely grown. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to save Esau. Nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory. And you ain't going to be able to oppress us no more. All right, no more of that. That's why they want to do this Revelation 13 thing, because they think that they're going to be able to rule forever and merge their mind with the machine. I've been seeing that in a lot of movies, a lot of the games, a lot of the, the different things that come out of Hollywood, because that's a hope for them. They understand that even them, you know what I'm saying, they gotta go. They gotta try to get an organ transplant, or, get this operation or whatever. Do this particular, get their hyperbaric oxygen chamber or whatever they're trying to do for them to live forever. But even them, their flesh waxes old too. So now they need a whole new escape into the digital world. Where everybody's connected, and everybody's supposed to be equal, right? But some are more equal than others. You know how that works. Right? I answered then and said, "This is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given to him to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment?" And that's what it means, after death to look for punishment. You got to come back and receive that punishment. "O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time?" And this proves once again, because how is some men going to receive immortality, but then others gotta burn forever? They weren't even born in the right time, to be of the elect, according to Christians. You know what I'm saying? You have some who are going to receive immortality, but what about those who are in hell burning forever? They're just going to burn forever, but you were just born in the right place, the right time, so you get to live forever. You know what I'm saying? They might have made one simple mistake or two simple mistakes or whatever. Just like King David, he, received mercy, and he did sins worthy unto death. He had a man put to death, had a man killed, Nadab, and then committed adultery with his wife. And that's what they get, the movie, The Man in the Iron Man. I'm jumping all over the place, but it's been on my spirit to bring it out. All right, this movie, The Man in the Iron Mask, they basically plagiarized the Bible for the plot of that movie. That's exactly what happens to Louis. He does that with a man, has him go out, front line, and he gets hit by the cannon, and then, he's dealing with his wife. All right, it says, Salaki, back to the scriptures. It says, "For what profit is unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked of all ways, and that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it, for we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blackened in darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death." And that's what it's talking about. You have to return. "Then answered he me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight." That's just what it is. All right, you got to come back. You got to face your sins. You got to go through these things. Okay, you got to go through this narrow path. And you have to remember that every day, regardless of your situation, how you feel, this is the condition of the battle. "That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing I say." Right? "For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, Choose thee life that thou mayest live. Nevertheless, they believe not him, nor yet the prophets after him, no, nor me, which have spoken unto them. That there should not be such heaviness in their destruction as shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation. I answered and said, I know, Lord, that the Most High is called merciful, and that he have mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world, and upon those also that turn to his law, and that he is patient and long suffereth those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needeth, and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplieth more and more mercies to them that are present and that are past, and also to them which are come. So there you go. The Lord multiplied mercies for all. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world would not continue with them that inherit therein. And he pardoneth, for if he did not so of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them, the 10,000th part of men should not remain living. And being judged, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions, there should be very few left peradventure in an innumerable multitude. All right, if he doesn't cure us, man, Israel will be fucked up. All right, so hey, Lord willing, man, we obtain this salvation and this great mercy which is set up for the elect of Yasharallah. May I be a part of that number. You know, continue to work towards this, brothers, and value your time, because we don't have much left. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Abishai.